expected.
All right, Pack Rat, so to start the room tour, I am filming this at night right now because that way the kids are asleep and they don't run in and mess the video up for you guys. The game room is right to the left when you come into the entryway. And if we've learned anything from a CJR video, he says, come into your game room and show everybody a 360 first. So let's do a little spin-a-rooski here first for you guys. You can see the game room in its entirety. Added some things this year. The game wall still does exist. And that's kind of your overview. And I know it's quick, but there's a lot of detail in this room that I'm going to go over. And guys, forgive me, I am coming off of a cold right now, so I'll do my best not to be hacking and coughing during the video. I always start with the PlayStation. If you guys have seen the other room tours, I will start here too. Just a quick sidebar. My wife got me this cool Pacman lenticular sign. It's a pretty awesome sign. Down here, I've got a V for Vendetta poster as well as my Marvel Comics poster. I just don't have a good spot to put those yet. We'll see. And then right there, we got the Blades of Chaos hanging on. They protect the door. So PlayStation has always been right here on the game wall. I have the original PlayStation 1. A lot of these are my original ones from when I was a kid. I have continued to collect PlayStation 1 games, but I have been downsizing. I've been downsizing stuff that doesn't matter to me. If you guys have seen any of my other videos, I talk about collecting smart and making sure that you're working on Collection 3.0. And I'm still getting there. I'm still working on Collection 3.0. But these are all what I feel are bangers on the PlayStation 1 right now. Underneath my PS1 is my PS2. And you'll notice that I have this stuff kind of in like little cubby areas. So like my PSP stuff is here, PS2 stuff here, Vita, PlayStation 3, and so on. So hopefully it makes sense. PlayStation 2. It starts here. Some awesome games in here. This is where I was introduced to the Burnout series, Castlevania, the Guitar Hero games. Man, I played so much Guitar Hero. 1, 2, and 3 were fantastic on the PlayStation 2. Below that is the PlayStation 3. I ended up getting the PlayStation 3 from my wife for Valentine's Day back right before we got together, or before we got hitched. So that was always cool. Cherish it. I remember playing Heavenly Sword.
In this battle, the wielder must stand alone.
And then below that is my PS4. And my PS4 has not gotten as much love, unfortunately, just because we have such bad internet here at the house. To download anything current gen has become pretty difficult. So next to the PS1 is my PSP collection. I've told this in a story before in videos, but I sold my entire PSP collection to buy a Nintendo 2DS because I wanted to play Mario Kart, and it was a huge mistake. So I have rebuilt this collection from scratch, trying to find stuff at swap meets, garage sales, game conventions if I can get a good deal on this stuff. But I've pretty much gotten the collection back to almost where it was. Below that is the PS Vita. I don't have a huge Vita collection, but I definitely love the Vita. That OLED screen is fantastic, and there were some pretty awesome games that came out on the Vita. Below that, we have my DS collection. Not a huge handheld fan, but I do have some DS games, some 3DS games. 3 shelves of those, all the way down to my 3DS collection. I did think that the 3DS was a pretty cool design, and it had a lot of cool, like, executable mechanics, but I just don't think it caught on as much as it should have. Then I will just go up above here. I've talked about this in my other game room tour, guys. This is my PlayStation 2, my original one that I got for Christmas. This is what I opened up. Still has my original PS2 fat inside of it. Right next to that is Spyro. Oh, we gotta turn these lights on. What's the point, right? Without the lights, gotta get the ambiance. So Spyro guarding my PlayStation collection. And then to the left of that is kind of a cool cassette ghetto blaster. Sony found this one at Goodwill. I loved it. Picked it up so I could listen to some sweet cassettes.
Our high-fidelity tape still delivers high fidelity. Maxell, it's worth it.
And then over here is my Switch collection. Now, I've actually collected way more Switch than I thought I ever would. I think I'm now at like 140 games, which isn't a huge collection to some people that go crazy. But for me, I never thought a current gen console I would have so many. These cases are really cool. They just hold them when I go on like a trip. I often take this stuff with me if I hit up like a plane. Really easy to take the games with me, carry, 12 games, and I put a couple of these in the backpack and I'm good to go. So this, whoa, drop that, whoopsie. So we are looking at the Switch, goes all the way down this line. Now, a lot of people ask me about these bookcases. These bookcases are actually from IKEA, but unfortunately, they have discontinued them. They were called GNEDBY with a G, and I'll put a link in the description below. Maybe you guys can find them somewhere. Maybe they've got clearance at IKEA, but right now, you can't find them anymore. And then I broke up this wall. So this game wall for the longest time just had games across the entire wall. And I decided that I wanted to change it up. And since I was thinning out some of my collection, and I have been focusing on getting some variants of the Xbox 360 controllers, I went that route. So I've got my variants, and I did a video on that as well. You guys check out that video. It basically goes over my 360 controller collection and all the controllers that were available for that. But it's pretty cool, man. Blue, gold, the Gears of War special edition. And then down here, I've got a couple of these sweet characters holding some of my 360 collection controller, as well as the Elite controller, which I absolutely love that controller. Master Chief, Captain America, which he's pretty much covered by that entire thing. And then Boba Fett. I still have not seen the Boba Fett series as of the filming of this video, so I feel bad. So no spoilers. More 360 collection here, just showcasing this, kind of breaking up the game collection between the two. PlayStation on the right with a little Nintendo, and then mainly Nintendo over here on the left. And then under that, I used to have a huge Amiibo collection. When I say huge, I had like 20 to 30 of them, and I literally just brought them down to these four. These are my favorite ones. We've got Link from Link Awakening, and Nes, Smash Brothers, Pacman, because I'm Pacmancase, and Luigi. And then on the left of that is some of my Pixel Pals. These are so awesome. I still don't like to pull these out of the box for whatever reason, but I should, just because once they're lit up, they look really awesome, but they seem to be great to flank this area. And then to my right are some of my favorite pop figures. So if you guys didn't know, my favorite Ninja Turtle is Raphael. And then one of my favorite X-Men characters is Sabretooth. Favorite video game character is Kratos. And OG Retro Mega Man. So this was cool. This breaking this up was really nice. It showcased the game room, gives it a little bit of room to breathe. And like I said, as I'm working on a new collection, I want to make sure that it doesn't feel cluttered and it doesn't feel chaotic in here. So
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Over to the left is the Wii Collection. And again, these are like, it's almost like Tetris blocks in here on the collection. They don't go all the way across, but I have some of them just going down vertically. I think I'm at about 120 games on the Wii. And again, I've been organizing this collection and curating it to some of the best games that I want in the collection. So any, like a Snickle Fritz and that type of stuff, I've definitely pulled over the years. Deadly Creatures, that's actually a pretty unique one. Love House of the Dead. Kirby's Epic Yarn was pretty good. Manhunt 1 and 2. I think I have Manhunt 1 on the PlayStation 2. Can't go wrong with some Mario Kart. The Resident Evil. If you guys saw my top games of all time, the Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles are very, very cool games to do with the light gun. And that finishes off the Wii. And then below that is the Wii U collection. And again, I have pretty much gotten everything I wanted for the Wii U. I don't see myself needing to add too much more to the Wii U collection. But I still don't have Devil's Third. So I got to get that guy soon. The Wii U, very, very underrated. There are some cool games on there. Highlights to the Need for Speed Underground, where you can use it as a rear view mirror. And then the Batman Armored Edition is actually a pretty dang good almost remake, where they added some additional features to it. But I recommend giving Batman a go. And then over here is where I go, my old school retro. So when I say retro, I am not a fan of anything before the regular Nintendo. So Atari, ColecoVision, and television, and all of that stuff was before my time, and I just don't have a fondness for it, so I don't have much of it in the collection. But the NES was huge for me. This was me and my dad's console. We played it all the time. And this is the collection that I had as a kid. I probably had 50 or 60 games. And now I'm up to probably about 170 games now on the NES. And I love this system, man. These games are super underrated. You can always find a hidden gem on the NES. At least I'm trying to collect for the Black Label stuff here. Up here, notables, man, you've got to have your Battletoads. Always got to have your Battletoads.
And with kick fighting, surfing, babe saving, how can you go wrong? Your kid's a freak for Battletoads and these other games from Trade West, Nintendo Entertainment, or Game Boy systems required.
And then the Castlevania series, 1, 2, and 3. I think I'm still missing Ninja Gaiden 3 out of some stuff that I'm looking for. Yeah, right now, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. DuckTales. Galaxy 5000, one of my favorite games. I only have 3 of the Mega Mans right now. I only have 2, 3, and 6. So I am missing some of the Mega Mans that I need to add to the collection. Some of my favorite NES games I have in these cool rental cases. If you guys remember, we rented this stuff when we were kids, right? They were always in these cases. We've got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Got the original Metroid. I think pink, I made it pink on purpose for Kirby. I mean, man, they're butt ugly, but they're so cool. There's just something about them. And then, excuse me. And then I'm not a huge collector of complete in box cardboard for any type of retro games, but I have a couple of them. Super Mario Brothers 2. This Super Turrican actually came with the Super NT from Analog. Guardian Legend, Batman, Sky Shark, Galaxy 5000, Beetlejuice, Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, Operation Wolf, and then I've got a classic series Legend of Zelda box. So, but not a lot of the NES stuff, but these are some of the ones that I loved as a kid, and if I find them, I'll pick them up, but I'm not really searching for them. I would say that my least collected console is the Super Nintendo. If you guys have watched the channel before, I've never been a huge Super Nintendo fan because I didn't grow up with it. I didn't get my Super Nintendo until I got my 64, which then it overshadowed it. and I was a Sega Genesis kid. So
Coffee? Tea?
I only have roughly about 60 Super Nintendo games, but these ones are showcased on the stuff that I like. The Tournament Fighter Edition I thought was awesome on the Super Nintendo. Street Fighter Alpha 2, rented the shit out of that when I was a kid. Killer Instinct. I think this is an underrated beat 'em up. The War of the Gems for the Super Nintendo. That was a Marvel game. And then, of course, can't go wrong, man, with some Donkey Kong. Below that, this is one of my first subsets. My subsets on the GameCube are the GameCube Exclusives. So I was trying to go for a full set on that. I'm currently missing 13 games, and they're all the heavy hitters. So we're talking like $2,000 worth of games to be able to get me into that subset collection of exclusives. But the GameCube is awesome to collect for, but man, has it just skyrocketed in price lately. The entire GameCube collection. I know Retro Wolf 88 just sold his GameCube collection to Retro Rick, so pretty interesting to see what's been moving in our gaming community. So that is the game wall. Up above the game wall is my Nintendo in-box consoles. So most of these I find garage sailing, or I find them for a decent amount. I don't want to have to pay retail for this stuff, but I found an action set at a garage sale a couple summers ago. Picked up a Super Famicom from a guy selling at a garage sale. An old lady had a complete GameCube like in her garage that I picked up. This is my original Wii box. And then we've got our Switch from my original Switch. The one box I'm missing right now is a Wii U box, and the Nintendo 64 box, which is going to be over here with the 64 collection that we'll go over in a second. So that, I used to have a lot more stuff up on this shelf, but again, going back to kind of minimalizing and making this thing look a lot cleaner. I just enjoy it. I'm able to breathe here in the game room a lot more than needing so much, trinkets and knick-knack stuff up there. So over here to the left, guys, I lucked out and I ended up getting a Nintendo Switch kiosk from a GameStop that had to get rid of it. I knew the manager, and basically, you could tell that they were pulling it away. And I said, what do you got to do with this? He's like, it's got to be gone by tonight. So I grabbed my truck and picked it up. And before I knew it, I had a Nintendo Switch kiosk here at the house. So what I've turned this into, because it was missing some of the components in here, I've turned it into my classic console station. So up above, I've got the Super Nintendo Mini, the TurboGrafx Mini, the Neo Geo Mini, Mario Paint and Point Blank are hiding in there, Sega Genesis Mini, and the PlayStation Mini. So I modded this guy so that I could have all of the Super Nintendo games on the Mini there, as well as on my Sega and PlayStation, as much as they could hold on the PlayStation. Those are a lot bigger files. But I just opened this up, and I've got the PlayStation sitting in there, the Genesis, and, the Super Nintendo, Genesis, and the PlayStation in there. Close it up, and then over here, I ended up just throwing some Velcro on the controller so I could just hang it real easy on the side, and I can turn the console on and off from there. But it's awesome. Just get a couple chairs. I've got like these two ottomans. You can just set them in front there and just play with a friend and throw down on a little Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. Got my Pacman lighting marquee there. Always it fit really good on where the screen used to be on the Nintendo Switch kiosk. So I decided to just throw him in there and plug him in.
First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots, then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots, then he eats his fill of a power pill, and then all those ghosts turn blue, boo, and Pac-Man eats them all too.
And then over here, I have a Batman, like a cool artwork Batman poster that I ended up getting at Comic-Con. I always love original artwork like that. It's pretty awesome to me. Below here, I found at Goodwill this cool 360 controller / console stand. Got a little Mandalorian here, garden, that stuff. But that was really cool just to find stuff like that, to go out and see things that I hadn't seen before. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to hold your games down the side here, and then it holds 4 controllers and then the Xbox 360 console down there. So this is kind of where I've stored my Xbox 360. Obviously don't play it as much as I used to, but I do have a couple of them there just in case I want to LAN up and play some old school, either Call of Duty or Left 4 Dead, one of my favorite ones. And then we'll go up above, and this is basically my display case. So I don't have a lot of room in the game room. And again, I used to have 1,000 things up here, and it just felt really cluttered. So I wanted to make sure that I could organize a little bit better and clear some stuff up. So I went back through these shelves and kind of put up some of my favorite stuff. So the first one is The Thing. I love Ben Grimm, Fantastic Four, one of my favorite comic book characters.
It's problem time.
Next is Batman. I've got another Pixel Pal there of Batman, and then this Batman right here was the released one for Batman 1989 or Returns. I don't remember which one, but I found that at Goodwill. I used to have one as a kid, and I straight up buried it in the yard in like a time capsule with my friend, and I have no idea where we put it. But I found that, and I was like, oh, it's so cool, because his belt pops out, like kind of with like a retractable cable. This is like a replica of the Batarang from the 1989 movie. And then here is an Arkham Asylum, I think a Marvel Universe statue. And then right next to it, man, the 1989 soundtrack of Batman on the cassette.
The funkiest thing you ever seen. Say what his name is.
Awesome. Cassettes were cool, man. I think a lot of people forget how awesome they were. They used to pull out, had leaflets and sleeves, and you could read all the lyrics. You don't get that much anymore. As we keep going over here, I've got my Street Fighter Pop collection. I just got this from the Dad Box. This cool Ryu kind of pixelated character. Chun-Li from the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Special Edition. And then shout out to Iowa Retro Gamer Dad, Zach. He always sends me Street Fighter stuff if he can come across it. And then my friend Amanda hit me up with the 7 series of these pop figures, and they never made any more, which is really frustrating because there's some really cool pops that they could make out of the Street Fighter characters. So I'm waiting on that. I am a huge fan of Beast Wars. If you guys didn't know, I've talked about Beast Wars a lot. I'm a big fan of Beast Wars, more so than Transformers actually. And they came out with this new line called the Kingdom line, and I ended up collecting all of those recently. But it's got Optimus Primal and Rhinox, Rat Trap, some other famous characters, Cheetor, and then some of the OG ones in the back. That's the Maximals on this side. On this side is the Predacons. Funny enough, if you know the series, I put Dinobot here because he originally was a Predacon and moved over to the Maximals. And I'm sounding nerdy as F. And then up here, we've got a couple big robots, right? We've got Optimus Prime, we've got the Megazord, and Bumblebee. And again, I find almost all of this stuff when it comes to these toys. I find this stuff at Goodwill, Value Villages. These ones I did have to purchase, but I collected for so long, it was hard for me to say no. And then my favorite character of all time is Kratos. I found this special edition, I think it was a thrift store, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got Gendry and, oh my god, I forgot his name. I feel so bad. But the 2 dwarfs from the newest God of War that make all of your weapons. Then below here is the Resident Evil chainsaw from the PlayStation 2. And then I stumbled across this at a Value Village. It was Biohazard, the Japanese version of Resident Evil. And I just thought the artwork was awesome. And then I also ended up getting this like cool little snow globe. Basically is like a sand snow globe from Resident Evil 5. So cool. Below that is my 65-inch curved Samsung TV. I use that all the time for movies and games. This is where I do all my modern gaming on it. And then below that is new, right? If you guys have checked out the game room tours before, I used to have huge IKEA collect shelves that were the cubes, and I just found it to have too much space up above it that I couldn't use. So I ended up picking up a new shelving unit that I thought was more crisp and streamlined, and I pulled some consoles that I don't play very often on there. We'll just start from left to right. We've got the PSVR, and then this is the Nintendo Switch, as you guys all know. And then I scored the Analog, Super NT, and Mega SG recently. Love those consoles to be able to play my games on the HDMI the right way. I got this from a friend who was getting rid of it. So shout out to Dan for this Sony Trinitron, old school. I'm not sure what this model was, but I used to have one of the larger 32-inch flat screen Trinitrons. But this was small enough to be able to put right underneath my bigger TV and play some of my retro stuff on it. PlayStation 2 next to that, GameCube, and then below on the shelf, starting left to right, we've got the PS4 right there, and then PlayStation 3, Xbox Series X, and then the Switch for the ones that go to that TV is right there for any of my retro consoles. The Wii U, which I play all my Wii games on. And then we've got the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn, the Nintendo 64, which that's what we were playing with all the fam the other day, so that one was still in there. And then the original Xbox. To the left of that is my Turtles cab. It is the only one-up arcade that I currently have, other than for Christmas, my wife bought me a Pacman, which I can't set up yet because I need to find room in the game room. But this Turtles cab is fantastic, man. 4 players, get some people in here. I think I got both of these stools, really sturdy bar stools, for $10 a piece at Goodwill. So those are awesome. My daughter and her cousin always end up playing this game all the time. Turtles in Time and Turtles Arcade. Are the two? I've changed this over here. I actually made this my Turtles kind of display area. I have been collecting some of the original 80s figures. And what's great is this collection gets curated because I can find this stuff out in the wild. And I just add a turtle each time that I find something related to it. So start left to right again. We've got Rocksteady. I found these at GameStop. They had them on clearance, these cool statues. And then my favorite turtle is Raph. So various versions of Raph. This is an absolutely terrible movie and a terrible version of Raph, but I found it for like 99 cents. And then right there, that Raph from the OG comics, that was given to me by Steve, Mr. Rightway. So guys, go check out his channel if you haven't seen it. Usagi Yojimbo, just found a Casey Jones recently. Baxter, got a sweet Krang. Some Leos, some Mikeys, and then right here, this is a cool set. It's the entire Ninja Turtles original cartoon on DVD, and all of them are just sitting in there, cool, as the turtle van. So, oh, my turtles fell. Turtle down, turtle down. Below that is all of my video game related movies and VR on the PSVR, and then I've got a couple 360 arcade controllers, and behind those are all my strategy guides and art books. Over to the left is a little overflow of my Sega Genesis stuff, and then I've got a Arcade X stick, which they're awesome. I love those. Little Build-A-Bear Raph. Funny enough is that those go for a ridiculous amount these days. Up above that, this is my Sega Genesis wall. Couple cool things about this. My Dreamcast here. And then I had this Dreamcast I found. This Dreamcast was from my friend. And so he gave me his entire childhood Dreamcast games and system all boxed. So I keep it boxed, keep it protected. Super awesome. Thanks, Jeff, for that. I got a little Sonic protecting that over there. And then I found a Genesis at like a local ma and pa thrift store, complete in box, which was a cool find. Below that is a Game Gear that was given to me by Steve Craig Retro Games. If you guys saw my Game Gear Grind episodes, I picked up one from Macari and it ended up being a shit show. So he hooked me up with one of these and hooked me up with some sealed Game Gear games as well. So that was very cool. A couple Master System stuff in there. Over here is my loose Genesis and 32X. Started collect for the 32X. I never played it before. Zach, our Retro Gamer Dad, sold me for a sweet deal. Over here is my Sega Saturn Japanese collection. I love collecting for that just because the fighting games are way cheaper and they play great. Then my Dreamcast. I want to say I'm at almost 100 Dreamcast games right now. I currently have them organized with the white spines and the black spines. Then I think I have a couple Japanese Dreamcast games over there. Shenmue OG, Shenmue 2, which I think was not released here. And then I've got the Sega Genesis clamshells, which to be fair is my favorite thing to collect for right now. I love the Sega Genesis clamshells. A couple of these are original. And then when I get down here to, I think, Primal Rage or Sonic & Knuckles, there's this place called Gamecases.com. I'll put a link in the description, but these guys make technically reproductions of these cases, but they're phenomenal. And they give you the case and they do the artwork and they look great when they're all done. So I ended up grabbing those because I love to display, and the artwork and the clamshells are half of why I love collecting for the Sega Genesis in the first place. Below that is some of my black cartridges, couple 32X, and then I've got a Musha, which is awesome, and it was a reproduction. So I didn't know that when I picked it up. Everybody watch out. You never know. Then a humble Sega Saturn collection on their original cases, some Sega CD stuff. I ended up finding like a bunch of Sega CD games. They were loose, but they were all at a local thrift store. And then I ended up picking these up. Shout out to Storm City Retro. He was selling some of his Sega Saturn stuff loose, but he ended up having all these sweet cases that he made. And to be honest, I almost wish Sega Saturn would have gone this route with these DVD cases because they look really good. Move over here to the left. This is my workstation where I edit and where I draw. I've got two of these IKEA filing cabinets. I've got memory cards in here. I've got extra cables. That's a rat's nest. Shipping stuff. And then this is all my mini controllers in here. Currently working on a video for the GameCube, so watch out for that one. Over here, I edit with two Edifier monitor speakers. Love those guys. Currently, I am working on this Rocksteady. Drew that a couple nights ago. And then I'm using this program called Krita. I think it's Krita or Krita. I absolutely love it. Normally I used to draw in Photoshop, but now I've kind of moved to that. I've used a bamboo tablet for a long time, but I need to move into like a huge Wacom tablet that goes across the screen. I would love drawing with that a lot more. And then a little sketchbook here. On the left side of my desk, I've got all my handheld. This is like Game Gear and Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games. Then a battery drawer. If you guys don't have a battery drawer, you're missing out because you know exactly how much we need batteries these days. Then this is my Nintendo Wii and 64 controller. Then this one, I talked about this in my last game room tour. I ended up grabbing this cool pull-out foam, but it's really expensive. It's like $50 for just this piece. So I was going to do it for each drawer, but ended up costly. So I kind of skipped out on it. And I already showed you some of my 360 stuff, but this has a couple more variants in it and some OG Xbox. Then over here to the left is my Xbox collection. Oh, look at this. I got to turn this guy on too. There we go. So this one has the Halo Reach Collector's Edition, which one of my favorites for Halo. The original in-box green exclusive special edition console. And then over here, I love these figures. They came out recently, but they're basically just like variations of the Spartans. Then up above here, I found this, I think, at a thrift store. Oh yeah, I still have the Goodwill sticker on it. This is Red versus Blue, and it's the Rooster Teeth guys, and it has all of their signatures on it. So that was a cool find.
This is unfucking believable. Yeah, it's not me. It's you.
Down below, not a huge Xbox One fan. Have a couple of the special edition controllers that came out for it that I like. And then maybe a handful of games here. Love Titanfall, great story mode. The Resident Evil games, Gears games, and Halo games, Darksiders. So for me, I'm pretty minimal on the Xbox collection. I loved the Xbox 360, but the Xbox One just never did it for me. This is my second exclusives collection. I have a almost complete Xbox exclusives collection. I have no rhyme or reason why I started collecting for it, but I got so close to building that exclusives that I just kept collecting. And before I knew it, I was pretty damn close to getting every single game that was exclusive made for the console. I know right now, Otogi, I think that one is sought after. We've got the Metal Slug games, the Knights of the Old Republic, Whacked, all sorts of goofy stuff that came out on the original Xbox that I think people miss. And then I was a huge 360 fan. I kind of skipped the PS3. I told you guys earlier in the video that I played Heavenly Sword, but, you know, I wasn't a huge PS3 fan. I played the crap out of the 360, though. So this was always my bread and butter. Castlevanias, Call of Duties, Dirts, Condemned, some awesome games on the 360. Again, I've whittled this collection down. I used to have double the amount of Xbox and 360 games and realized I just wouldn't play them. So kind of cleared house on that stuff. And now I just have all the good stuff that I want to play. Below that is my Virtual Boy. Ended up getting a sweet deal on Macari on that a couple years back. If you guys haven't tried that, you got to try a Virtual Boy. They're pretty interesting to play.
Its own voice. Its own legs. There's only one problem. It needs your eyes.
A Quest 2. My wife actually plays this more than I do, working out all the time, but I absolutely enjoy the Quest. It's fantastic. My son's Mario figure ends up in this room all the time, but he's pretty cool. You can press him or move him into different configurations, and he'll say different things. Okie dokie. Right here, ended up finding like St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. Picked up a Neo Geo Pocket. Got a couple games for that one. My Move controllers, my original Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket are in there. And then back here is like all of my Guitar Hero controllers and stuff. Just throw them in there. Below that is all of my handheld consoles. They're all underneath this shelf, but I've got Game Boy Advanced, SPs, some Wavebirds back there, some cased DSs, 3DSs. Then down here, I've got my Master System that I'm currently not playing. I don't have it hooked up right now. My Sega CD. And then down here is my Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Pockets, and Vita stuff. So that's pretty much like the handheld section. Got a couch over here just for everybody to lounge and just chill out. Everybody hang out here, sit on a couple of these ottomans, hit up the couches, and then we'll just throw down on whatever we're playing. I've got Street Fighter 2 Alpha playing right now. Again, I still don't have any gaming pillows. Ended up with a couple plushes and a thwomp, which my son just throws on the ground and screams thwomp. And then I added this. So if this is new to the Game Room Tour this year, guys. This is the Nintendo 64 wall. Now,
I'm here to tell you about the Nintendo 64 hardware. I'd like to tell you about all the technical specs and, well, actually, nobody really cares about technical specs. What matters is fun. You don't call it the fun machine for nothing.
out of all of the consoles that I collect for, this would probably be the closest one to a full set. I think I'm about 13 games away from a full set. Some of them are Snickle Fritz and some of them are expensive, but for the most part, pretty dang close. We've got a Nintendo 64 box there. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's games behind this. Yes, So I ended up grabbing all of these end labels from a guy on Etsy. Just check them out. If you guys search Etsy and just end labels, you'll find a bunch of people that make this stuff. But that is, I want to say 280 games. I think there's 296 or something like that. So like I said, I'm pretty close. Ended up finding this cool Nintendo 64 like OG camera. I don't have much box stuff. Again, I don't collect a lot of the cardboard boxes, but these ones either had from childhood or just stumbled across them. And then a couple cool repros. Huge shout out to geekguilt.com. He sent me a couple of these for review. We've got Mario GoldenEye and Dragon Ball Kart, which is cool. It's basically Mario Kart with Dragon Ball characters or 007 with Mario characters. So yeah, this shelf was really cool to put up. I just didn't have a good spot. I had too many games and I wanted to display the Nintendo 64 stuff a lot better. So wrapped around, snagged a calendar for the year, and we are back to the beginning of where we started, guys. That is the 2022 POV Game Room Tour. If you guys have any questions about the stuff that I showed you, or if you guys have any questions about things you want to see in more detail, let me know. Down here, oh, I almost forgot. This is all of the controllers that I actively am using or playing. You know, stuff if I want to throw down on the Sega Saturn over there, or the Xbox. The lime green is one of my favorite controllers. Absolutely love this one when it came out. And then in this is just extra controllers in this ottoman. So you think about it, you name it, it's in there. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega stuff, Nintendo stuff, whatever. And then in here, these two ottomans I actually use for storage as well since I have a smaller room. The first one is all of my guns. So this would be any light gun that you can think of for the system and kind of a loose Genesis sitting in there. And then over here, I think, is all of my arcade sticks and a loose Retron chilling there. So these are awesome. These ottomans I found at, I want to say Costco, and they hold like 400 pounds. So you're not really scared that anyone's going to bust them by sitting on them. So those have been pretty awesome. So guys, that's it. That is the Game Room Tour. And again, if you guys have any questions about what's in the game room or want me to showcase anything, let me know. Hit that subscribe button if you guys want to. Check out some of the other videos that I have done, which are a lot more entertaining than me just talking while I'm sick. But at this point, this is it, guys. This is the room. It's been this way for a couple years and probably will stay this way unless I move somewhere and get a new game room, which is very possible. You never know. All right, guys. I will catch you on the next video. Peace.